Okay. Hi guys. So I had a different video to put out today that I already filmed, but this is too important not to put this out. So everybody, this is literally for everybody. Like, you, no matter who you are, everything you're trying to create or manifest involves a specific person you don't know. For example, the guy giving you a car loan, the person, selling you the house, the person grading the tests at the test taking place, the guy at the driving place giving you your license, the person, the barista giving you the free coffee, like all these things, or the person at the store giving you free merchandise, or whatever it is that you are creating, everything, every single thing. I can't think of something that does not involve a specific person, SP, that you do not know, okay? So in this video, that you do not know, or they don't know you, right? So there's examples of romantic SP specific person that doesn't know you yet also, right? So those are all the examples of every single person that's giving you something that you want, something, that you are wanting something from, that is a specific person that doesn't know you or that you don't know, right? It could be either, but in this case, I'm just talking about the fact that they don't know you and you are, manifesting something from them, basically, right? And it could be any of those examples, and there's tons more examples too. So in this video, I'm going to give you two different examples. I'm going to use one non-SP example, like non-specific person romantic example, and then I guess it's still a SP example, but it's non-romantic and then romantic. Okay, so and in this case, we're just going to start with the general specific person, and then I also had an epiphany today that I wanted to talk about that actually everybody will be interested in, because I just couldn't not put this out today because it's really, really important and I feel like it could help a lot of people. Okay, so I'm going to start out with the epiphany because it's kind of a more general thing, and then we'll go into the what SP is thinking, either romantic or not romantic, if they don't know you, right? What is going on in their mind, what is happening with them, what thoughts they might be thinking. Obviously, what's that? Sorry. Obviously, it's going to be slightly different every time, right? It's not going to always be the same thing happening with every single, case, but I'm going to give you, two different examples so you can kind of see what could possibly be happening. But I'm going to start with the epiphany I had today. So it was literally thinking, the way I've been the way I've been telling you guys about how to get into the state, or live in the end, or live in the wish fulfilled, or get in the state of having what you want. I've been saying decide. I'm telling you to decide. I'm saying, like, just decide that you are that person, right? And that's what I keep saying. And I realize there's something wrong with the way I'm saying it. Like, it might not be quite like sinking in for you, because I feel like, I don't know, it seems kind of hard to understand. So what I thought of earlier today was that you're always, even if you don't realize it, you're always making a decision, right? You're always actually in a state. You're never not in a state, right? Like, we are always in a state. We're always in some sort of state. So that means that you're always making a decision, right? Even if you're not aware. Let's say I'm going to take you through a couple of things. Like, okay, say you're like sitting on your couch reading a magazine. Like, you even though you're not conscious of making the decision, that you're either doing that activity knowing you're the person with you're either doing that activity knowing you're the person with that relationship. We just use relationship for example because it'll really sink in if I use that example, I feel like. So if you're either inside of that relationship with your thoughts, your beliefs, and your behaviors, or you're not, right? Like all these little activities during your day, let's say washing clothes, you're doing the dishes, you're cooking dinner, every single thing you're doing, you're either inside of that, of the state, you're either inside of that reality, you're being that person, or you're not being that person, right? Like you literally, there's no in between. You're not half pregnant, right? You're not, it's like you're either being that person or you're not being that person. And the epiphany that I had was like, no matter if you're not even conscious of making a decision, you literally do every activity during your day as that person or not as that person, right? Like, and it could be the littlest thing, like you're doing laundry either as the person who's with that person, or you're not, you're single and you're not loved, or you're not in a relationship and you're doing everything from that perspective, or you're doing everything from the perspective of being with them, being in the relationship, being loved, having, you know, the security of a relationship, having the love, having the feelings of, you know, being in like partnership with someone, right? So it's literally, you can check in no matter what stage you're doing, like whatever thing you're doing during the day, and just realize, am I thinking thoughts of that person? Having behaviors of that person? Am I having the feelings of the person that is with my partner right now? You know, because if you were actually with them, you wouldn't be having to decide on those thoughts, beliefs, and feelings. You would just naturally be having them. So when you are training yourself to line up with that reality and merge with that reality, you're going to be having to put yourself there instead of naturally just being there, right? And it'll become natural for you, but you're gonna have to start putting yourself there, you know, and it may not feel natural to always be feeling, thinking, and behaving like that person. That's why it's great to check in all the time, because you're constantly making a decision. You're constantly either that person or you're being not that person, right? I just wanted to say that. I thought that was the epiphany was really just, you are always making a decision. And that was the thing I wasn't saying before. I was just saying like, decide, but like, you're always not consciously making it, you know, you're always making the decision, but sometimes you're not aware that you're making the wrong decision, right? You're making the decision that's not with that person, because you're not behaving, you're not feeling that you're not feeling as that person, you're not behaving as that person, and you're not thinking as that person, right? So just a little reminder, hopefully that clicked for you. I feel like it's kind of an epiphany that I had as a way of describing it or explaining it. So, okay, sorry, I had to get up for a minute to get the dog something. So now let's go into the examples of an SP situation that does not know you. What are they thinking? Okay, the first example I'm going to do is a car loan person that's giving you a car loan. So this actually happened to me, and so I'm just going to use a personal example to illustrate what they would be thinking, okay, and why you would get it, or what they would be thinking in order to give it to you. So all that I did, so I was getting a car loan, and I knew that I was not the best candidate, right? I just knew I was not the one with the best credit. I definitely knew that. But obviously you know that they don't know you, but you want them to choose you, right? So the only affirmation I actually said was, they choose me, I'm chosen. I was just kind of repeating that. And then I said, I got the car loan. Like, I'm chosen, I got the car loan. They chose me, right? And that's all I kept saying was, they chose me, I got the car loan, you know? And I was like, you know, kind of just repeating that, like not even doing much else, no other affirmations, just kind of saying, oh cool, I got the car loan, you know? And after I got it, I actually ended up asking the guy, because I was curious, you know, after all the papers were signed and I knew there was no, you know, taking it back or whatever, like I was safe to ask. I was safe to just be like, and why did you give it to me? Like, I was just curious, because I know there are other people that, you know, logically were better candidates, right? In my head, I already knew that, because my credit wasn't the best, and my income at the time wasn't great. Like, I just knew that logically I wasn't the best candidate for it. And the guy literally said to me, I liked your demeanor. Like, he's literally like, I just liked you, like just thought you were a trustworthy person, and I liked, you know, your attitude, or like I kind of felt like you were just a good person, is what he said to me. He's like, I just ended up just thinking you were good and you were trustworthy, and I liked your smile, and like you just had a good attitude, and I just literally just approved you for it, not the other people. And so what I want to say about that is I'm just glad I asked, because I got the insight, because those were not my affirmations, right? I was affirming that I just got approved. I was just like, oh, I got the loan. But the thing that happens is they pick up on your solid beliefs, right? Like the reasons they have, like what's in their mind about you, is beliefs that you hold about yourself. Isn't that like fascinating? Like I think it's pretty amazing to see that like play out, right? So literally, the only thing I was saying was, I'm approved, I'm chosen for the loan, the car loan is mine, right? And he was picking up on these things that I believe about myself and then giving it to me for that reason, right? Like those were the thoughts in his head. Were like, oh, that girl is so nice, she's really she seems really trustworthy, like I feel like she's definitely going to pay the loan back, and she's really nice, you know, she seems like a really good person. And those were the reasons he said he gave it to me. And those are things that I know about myself, right? Those are strong held beliefs that I actually have, that I carry with myself all the time. Like that's something that those are things that I know about myself, that people who know me well would say about me, right? So it's just having to do with my already strong held beliefs, and they pick up on that, and that becomes the reason they give it to you, and that becomes what thoughts they have in their head. Even if you're not saying those types of affirmations, even if the only affirmation you are saying is, I get the thing, you know, I'm approved, or the seller wants to sell it to me, or the car guy gives the car to me, all these things, right? If you're just saying this one thing, the reasoning is for them is usually beliefs they pick up that you have about yourself, right? As to why they chose you. Okay, so that's the first example, and I think that's pretty insightful, right? So hopefully that helps people who just in general, you know, manifesting something from a specific person, SP, but a general SP, right? Not a romantic SP. So the second example I'll use is a romantic SP. So what is a romantic SP thinking about you, or just in general, what are they thinking when they don't know you yet, right? Like let's say you haven't met them, you maybe know them from work, like they're just somebody you met briefly at work, or you saw online, or they're a famous celebrity, they're like somebody that does not know you, right? And you're creating them. And this was actually a question that someone asked me, and they loved the answer that I gave them. So I figured it was a really good follow-up video from the one I previously put up, because that was SP that obviously knows you already, right? So what they would be thinking if you are starting to affirm about having a relationship or with them, or you're stepping into the person who has the relationship with them or is loved by them, like whatever you're doing, having thoughts about you guys together and being the person that's with them, they will start thinking about a relationship, just a general relationship, right? That's like the first kind of thoughts that they'll start thinking. They're like, oh, I kind of want to be in a relationship. Like that sounds good to me right now. Like I'm ready for a relationship, right? And then they might start thinking that they want someone like with your hair color, or like that looks like you, or they have thoughts of like what they want in a partner, like the same demeanor as you, you know, if you just keep affirming that you're with them, right? And all the while you're being the person that's with them, right? They'll start to get ideas in their head about someone kind of more general, right? Like someone who maybe looks like you, or they'll start seeing pictures of girls that look like you on magazines, or like just out in public, that they're like, oh, I'd like to, that girl looks nice, like I'd like to, you know, be with someone that looks like that, like with that color hair, or has that type of attitude, or that smile, or whatever. Like they start thinking more and more about relationship. And then, you know, they can have thoughts about possibly meeting someone somewhere and kind of getting these ideas in their head. And it just they kind of build the thoughts similar to an SP that knows you. Like they kind of like build up thoughts in their, like they think more and more about it until they're like really feel ready to have a relationship. And then obviously something will happen, a series of events, right? Like the transition period when you're like going through your, the events leading up to your manifestation, where you end up meeting them at a party, or you end up, DMing them, or they see you somewhere, you get introduced, or you meet them somehow, right? Or you find out they contacted you, or somehow like one of your friends that knows both of you introduces you, or something like that. But it's these thoughts are already in their head because you're already affirming, or you're already being that person that's with them, kind of thing, so that when they meet you, it's almost like already worked out, right? It already like it something clicks with them, right? Where they're like, oh, this is the person, right? And then it's like snowballs from there, right? But that's what someone would be thinking that doesn't know you yet, right? They would have like images of you, someone that looks like you, or things like that. They would maybe eventually see your picture somewhere, right? Where they're like, oh, I love that girl, like, and they would have feelings when they look at the photo, right? Because you've been sort of like, or in their mind, they've been building this kind of thing up where they keep thinking about it, right? They kind of building this idea of having a relationship with someone like that up in their head, right? It's not exactly you yet, but it becomes exactly you when they actually meet you, right? When there's a series of events that allows them to meet you finally, then it's like an aha moment where they're like, oh, this is the girl, like this is the one, right? Like it's like giving them all the thoughts beforehand, so that when you actually meet in person, it's like a no-brainer for them, right? And this has actually happened to me before, where I've had dates with people that I didn't know that I've created going out with to see. I was like, I wanted the opportunity to go out with them to see if I liked them, right? And so that was kind of what the process is when you know that they don't know you, right? They don't have any idea about you. They just know you from a distance, or they don't know you at all. So anyway, I hope that helps. I hope that gives you some insight. And if you loved it, thumbs me up. And if you love Neville and changing your life and law of assumption, stick around. I'd love to have you guys. Bye. Bye from the dog. Bye, guys.